Uppercut bottles of Donald Trump!
So, Donald Trump is a brash billionaire businessman known for his loud, confident, and self-promoting style. Representing modern capitalism and the American dream, he's tied to wealth and power, but often criticized for greed and egotism. His larger-than-life persona makes him a fierce competitor.
Versus Ebenezer Scrooge!
Ebenezer Scrooge is a Victorian-era miser and moneylender. Known for his cynical, frugal, and cold-hearted nature, he embodies greed and the moral consequences of wealth. Representing old-school capitalism, Scrooge initially hoards his riches, but undergoes a redemptive arc, ultimately embracing charity and compassion.
Wake up, Scrooge! I'm about to take a Dickens of a dog!
Yes, that's a pun on Charles Dickens, the author of A Christmas Carol. It's also a twist on the phrase, a Dickens of a time, meaning a real problem or a lot of trouble.
On this lonely, homely, little miserable grove!
Pretty much nails Scrooge's character. He's stingy, grouchy, and can't stand anyone ruining his vibe.
I'm like the star on a Christmas tree! You're like the star!
Trump's persona is always in the spotlight, bold and attention-grabbing, while a stump is just the leftover base once a tree is cut down, dull and unadorned. It's a fitting comparison to Scrooge's bleak, joyless life.
I'm not known for my heart!
Trump admits he's also not exactly a fuzzy teddy bear at heart. Shocking revelation, I know.
But you're still getting drunk!
This line plays on Trump's name and the verb to trump, which means to outdo or beat someone. It's also a continuation of the previous verse, reinforcing that although Trump may lack empathy, he isn't as heartless as Scrooge, and he can still come out on top.
You remind me of my ex-wife in a bikini, because you disgust me!
Ouch. Trump is referencing his multiple ex-wives. About the bikini part, let's just say we don't need a Scrooge in a bikini.
Keep your TB from Tiny Timmy away from me! Don't even touch me!
Poor Tiny Tim. In the movie, Dickens doesn't say it's tuberculosis, but it's heavily implied Tim's got some serious Victorian illness. Trump's comment also nods to his known germophobia. He wants no physical contact with Scrooge or Tim's ailments.
I don't shake hands, I don't make—
Trump's handshakes can be awkward or avoided altogether, and he's emphasizing he's not here to be liked.
fans, I ruin rappers faster than Scottish—
This claim is referencing his controversial Scottish golf course that locals say messed with the environment.
Even Jay-Z knows what a pimp I am!
Jay-Z is a high-profile rap mogul, businessman, and record executive.
I got my name on the front of the business, man!
Trump Tower, Trump University, Trump Golf, Trump Cards. Oh, wait, scratch that.
My raps will haunt you, make you think you're going insane! You're about to get whooped by 3 MCs of the ethereal plane! So when the clock strikes, prepare to enter a world of Christmas pain!
All these lines reference A Christmas Carol. Trump likens his verses and the whole rap battle to the story's ghostly encounters, reimagining the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future as 3 MCs of the ethereal plane. The clock-striking warning matches the original tale's timing, signaling Scrooge is about to face a triple dose of holiday rap torment.
Cause I'm out! I got my own f***ing problems! Call me 2 Chainz!
This one's referencing the famous rapper 2 Chainz, but it also ties back to A Christmas Carol where Jacob Marley appears dragging heavy chains as punishment for his greed, similar to how Trump's waving his chains around the suitcase.
How dare you disturb me when I'm napping in my chair?
First up, Scrooge is basically saying, get off my lawn, but indoors. In A Christmas Carol, he's depicted as a solitary, cranky old man who can't stand interruptions, whether it's carolers at his door or ghosts appearing in his bedroom. Here, he's just as annoyed at Trump's intrusion as he was with any spectral visitor.
You're a crappy rap-spitting apparition. I ain't scared of—
Scrooge calls Trump an apparition, comparing him with the ghosts of Christmas and labeling him crappy to boot. Clearly, Scrooge is giving off those seen one ghost, seen 'em all vibes. In the original story, he was dismissive at first, even blaming undigested beef for his hallucinations. Now he's just doubling down on that attitude, but with an added side of rap battle flair.
This random phantom haunt all you want, I don't care.
Here, he's painting Trump as just another pesky ghost trying and failing to rattle him. If anything, Scrooge is basically rolling his eyes and saying, "Haunt away, pal, I've got dinner in 5."
I do not believe in ghosts, and I don't believe that hair.
Scrooge just took a cheap shot at Trump's hair, arguably one of the most discussed topics in modern political history. In A Christmas Carol, Scrooge refuses to believe Marley's ghost, chalking it up to who knows what. Now he's extending that disbelief to Trump's hair.
Don't panic, Scrooge, but you're about to crash.
Don't panic is Morgan's cheeky nod to the financial panics of his era, like the Panic of 1907. He basically strolls in with a colossal mustache and even bigger wallet to bail out the US banking system. Telling Scrooge, "You're about to crash," warns of a big financial meltdown, something Morgan either prevented or profited from in real life.
From JP Morgan, the ghost of rich dudes past.
Pretty straightforward intro. JP Morgan was an insanely powerful financier here. He's basically the rap battle version of the Ghost of Christmas Past, but drenched in big business swagger.
Who's properly rocking the Monopoly mustache?
If you've ever seen vintage photos of JP Morgan, you know he wore that thing like the Monopoly man before Monopoly was cool. Except Morgan was dealing in actual railroads and steel, not just plastic houses. The line also nods to how Morgan was behind massive trusts, kind of like real-life monopolies.
So I own the railroad, I run these tracks.
This one's a double punch. Morgan really did dominate the railroad industry back in his day, consolidating and controlling major lines. Running these tracks also flips to rap lingo, like he's owning the beat as well as the literal tracks. Dude's basically telling Scrooge, "I'm in charge everywhere." Finance, transportation, and hip-hop.
You got dumped on a bench, now you're pissed at the world.
This pokes fun at Scrooge's backstory. He lost his fiancée, Belle, because he was way too in love with his money. Dumped on a bench refers to how Belle left him on a bench once she realized money had become more important to him than she was. After this, his character got even more grumpy.
You should have made like Sebastian and kissed the girl.
Sebastian refers to the crab from The Little Mermaid that sings "Kiss the Girl." Now that crab dance that he does, that makes sense. It always seemed very random to me. With this, JP Morgan's basically dissing Scrooge for not holding on to Belle. The moral of the story, a smidge of romance might have saved him a whole lot of ghost visits. Or rap battle defeats.
Because your greed is the curse that's gonna tear you apart. What good is your purse if you're poor in your heart?
These two lines roll right into each other, and honestly, they sum up A Christmas Carol in a nutshell. First one zeroes in on Scrooge's biggest flaws, greed and isolation. But the real kicker, this is all coming from JP Morgan himself, a guy who practically made it rain in 19th century finance. So yeah, that's a prime example of the pot calling the kettle black. This is his signature catchphrase, which is basically his way of saying, "Please keep your holiday cheer, and apparently you're rapping far away from me."
Your raps don't unnerve me, they're atrocious. What frightens me the most is your gross ghost proboscis.
Scrooge is going in on Morgan's supposed ghost proboscis. A proboscis is just a fancy word for nose, often used to describe a long or unusual snout. Historically, he was rumored to have some striking facial features.
Business and success, that's the life I've selected.
Pretty self-explanatory. Scrooge lives and breathes business, money, and more business. This line perfectly sums up his priorities.
So enough with your pictures from the past, I'm not affected.
Remember the ghost of Christmas Past from the original A Christmas Carol? The whole point of that ghost was to show Scrooge his earlier life and make him regret his choices. He's trying to brush off the lessons as if they're just old photos no one wants to see. But this line, "I'm not affected," tells us Scrooge is doubling down on his "I don't care" attitude.
You're about to be right now. I'm the ghost of what's right now.
Alright, so Kanye's saying Scrooge is about to face the present, and not the fun ribbon-wrapped kind. This line plays on the ghost of Christmas present from A Christmas Carol, but Kanye calls himself the ghost of what's right now. Basically, he's rubbing it in Scrooge's face that he's got to confront how miserably he's being at this very moment.
take a lesson from Yeezy. You're missing the point of Ebenezer.
Kanye's nickname, Yeezy, gets rhymed with Ebenezer because who doesn't love a forced rhyme on their first name?
There's more to life than you work, take it easy. Even I can make time for Aziz.
He also mentions Azizi. It could be a playful nod to Aziz Ansari, or maybe an inside joke no one gets but Kanye. Either way, the point is, if the busiest guy in pop culture can loosen up every now and then, so can a grumpy old miser.
That's what's a phrase on your wish list, 'cause you don't know the spirit of Christmas.
The gist. Kanye is telling Scrooge he's missing the real lesson here, which is empathy, generosity, all that warm and fuzzy holiday stuff. If you've got Kanye West telling you to be more empathetic, well, let's just say you've got some soul searching to do.
If you think that you would at this moment, then sharing your money with some of the homies.
Final mic drop from Mr. West. If Scrooge truly understood the spirit of giving, he'd be helping the less fortunate right now. In the movie, Scrooge eventually does give back, but Kanye wants to speed that process up. Also, at the end of some versions of A Christmas Carol, two children appear, representing ignorance and want. They're portrayed as poor, homeless kids who stand for humanity's foolishness and endless desire for more. These same beings are portrayed as the kids Kanye shows here.
Oh, this isn't happening! Oh, this is maddening!
Here we see Scrooge going into full-on meltdown mode. In A Christmas Carol, Scrooge steadily unravels with each new spirit. Fear, confusion, the whole deal.
Wait! Actually hearkening back to the dead Donald Trump!
And here we get a little jab at Mr. Trump, or should I say the late Donald Trump. Of course, Trump's not actually dead, though in this rap's twisted reality, he's taken on the role of the first ghostly visitor, sort of standing in for Jacob Marley. Scrooge clearly wasn't a fan of that lecture from beyond, so he's throwing shade by calling him the dead Donald. It's a sly nod to how Marley kicked off the hauntings in the original story.
Sure, I still am expecting a final spectacle!
In the movie, Scrooge meets three spirits after Marley, past, present, and yet to come. But here, the rap battle shakes things up with appearances from JP Morgan, Kanye West, plus Trump as a stand-in for Marley. By this point, Scrooge knows the final and typically scariest ghost is next, like the big boss battle you desperately want to avoid. In the original story, the ghost of Christmas yet to come shows him some pretty grim visions. So Scrooge is practically yelling, "I know you're out there, final spirit, just get it over with." You can't help but feel bad for the guy.
You're gonna die with no one to love you and no one to cry.
Death goes straight for the heart. You're gonna die. It's blunt, but it mirrors the ghost of Christmas Future's role in A Christmas Carol. He's there to show Scrooge his final fate if he doesn't shape up. In the original tale, Scrooge sees how little others care about his passing, and if that doesn't make you rethink your life choices, I don't know what will. Subtlety? Not exactly Death's strong suit. It's a direct reference to A Christmas Carol when Scrooge sees his own dead body, unloved and unclaimed. Stench of regret is the perfect way to sum up a lifetime of hoarding pennies instead of holiday cheer.
You've chosen the path of a selfish man with Tiny Tim's innocent blood on your hands.
Tiny Tim's innocent blood is a pretty harsh way of saying if Scrooge doesn't help the Cratchits, Tim could die. Dickens heavily implied that Tim's fate hinges on Scrooge's generosity, or lack thereof. So, yeah, if you're underpaying Bob Cratchit, it's basically on you if little Tim doesn't make it. Death isn't joking around. In the original story, Scrooge sees his own tombstone, and that's the ultimate wake-up call. He finally realizes, wow, I really messed up. It's right there, carved in stone, Ebenezer Scrooge. Unless he changes, that's how his story ends.
Are these the shadows of things that will be, or things that may be only?
We've got a direct reference to Charles Dickens's original text. In the book, Scrooge asks pretty much the same question. Are these terrible visions guaranteed, or is there still hope to avoid them?
If I depart from my course, can they change? Say it is thus with what you show me.
Scrooge's official plea for a second chance, he's basically saying, look, if I stop being a grumper and start being nice, can I dodge that awful fate you just showed me?
I promise to mend my ways. A friend to all men is what I will become.
Scrooge's official about face. In the movie, this is the pivotal scene where he vows to be charitable, kind, and basically the opposite of the guy we've seen all along. The phrase, "a friend to all men," nails Dickens's central theme: fellowship, goodwill, and maximum holiday cheer. Yes, even for those of us who prefer Halloween.
It's Christmas! I haven't missed my chance to be different! God bless us!
Here's where Scrooge goes full-on kid in a candy store with excitement. In Dickens's original story, he wakes up on Christmas morning yelling, "I haven't missed it!" meaning it's not too late to send gifts, spread joy, and hopefully avoid ghostly visits forever.
Who won? Who's next? You decide!
So, you are still here. Thanks for watching and for sticking around until the end. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed my first video. This whole thing started as a way for me to learn video editing, but, well, I kind of went overboard. The process is long and complicated, but turns out I actually love it. Right now, this video is unmonetized since I don't own commercial licenses for some of the software I use. They can be pretty expensive at the moment. That being said, if you'd like to support me, it would mean a lot. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, consider subscribing, dropping a like, or leaving a comment below. Let me know what you liked, what could be better, or what you'd love to see next. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.